Alright, what's up, y'all? Back to another video. I just wanted to jump onto my channel real quick to be able to give you guys some motivation. And I just kind of wanted to go through my story in the sense of a restart. Because some people believe a restart means that your whole life is over. But y'all play video games and y'all know exactly when y'all press that reset button, what to expect. Well, guess what? It's the same exact thing for you. But I just wanted to speak to you and speak to the God in you today to be able to allow you to know that your reset is only the beginning of a new beginning for yourself. New chapter, new page. Time to turn the page, man. So, all right, let's jump into it. So, in my recent life, I have had great turnarounds in the sense of a reset, like we want to speak about today. So, I used to live in Philadelphia, and just now my current reset is that I'm starting a new career, life insurance. I've been doing solar for about 6 years, and me doing solar wasn't something that I wanted to do anymore. I felt like there was nothing else for it to offer as far as money aside, because the money is great, but the career and the way that I had to keep doing it wasn't settling with myself. And I made over hundreds of thousands of dollars selling solar, residential, knocking doors, being gritty, understanding that I gotta be on point when I go to these people's house and transition into their house and pitch them correctly and help people understand that their electric bill is here and I'm gonna take the electric bill there. And it was cool. I know I had some milestones in my life. I have moved to Florida from it. I had brought this Tesla that I'm in from it, straight cash. I done brought my dogs from it, straight cash, and I've done traveled to different countries simply because of the money that I made. I had my own freedom. I can knock and work whenever I want. But the reset button that hit, I done did solar from 2020 all the way up to 2025, but my prominent years was 2022 to 2023. I've done so many installs, it's crazy, and I made so much money. But here's where I want you to look at, because some people may think, it's the end of the world when your bank accounts start going down, but it's not, because you still have you still have your work ethic, you still have who you are at the root, you still have the God source and essence inside of you. So price aside from me making all this money and career aside, my internal self of who I am is the most important thing that will get me past these humps. And I think that's exactly why God has put me through those situations, turmoils, left turns when I was supposed to make a right turn, and it reroutes and it takes you a whole hour to get to the destination rather than you was just 15 minutes away. Don't we all hate that when we're almost there and then we miss a turn and it gives us another 10, 20 to an hour sometimes, depending on where you at. But what I want to do is I want to speak to God into you, and I want to let you know that when God puts you in situations or he has you at an all-time high and then you go like this, just take a deep breath. I know it's hard at sometimes, and I know it's hard to kind of think about it, of where you're going in that moment, because everything is so pressured and so up in your face, and the world continues to move, and it's just very hard sometimes to stand still and just really think and understand what you're going to do next rather than react, right? Because so many times we react instead of thinking and understand what's next, right? So to kind of punchline my story, from me selling all this solar in New Jersey, I had an opportunity to sell solar in Florida. And I went to Florida. Actually, I went to North Jersey first because I was selling in South Jersey. That's where I'm from. Then I went to North Jersey. And I sold solar up there. Was doing good. Did about 5 installs. Made about $50,000 up there. Then I went to Florida, thinking that Florida was going to be all great. Sunshine State. People run their electrics all day and do their pool, and it's hot, so the AC's on all the time. Electric bill is going to be high. But boy, did I go down there and I got the total opposite. I done brought a house down there, paying about $2,000 a month in rent. I'm like, oh, one deal can get me pay my rent. One deal can be $8,000 to $10,000. I mean, all you need is one deal a month, and all your bills are paid. But those deals take about 1.5 months to get through. But nevertheless, I kept my head on tight, and I kept paving, I kept knocking, I kept working, I kept showing up to the meetings, I kept understanding that, I just need to do more numbers. And, next thing you know, my bank account starts shrinking. And over time, I started getting frustrated. I'm like, fuck! I'm supposed to come to Florida and turn it all the way up. Because, mind you, when I was in South Jersey, I was crushing it, dude. I mean, I was making $10,000 every other week the way I was putting installs up, man. I did 15 installs in 3 months. 15, that's $8,000 an install, man. Y'all do the math, pause the video, do the math. That's how much money I was making. And then I come down to Florida thinking I was going to do the best because Sunshine State, electric bills high. Just like I said, people renting the AC all the time. And the power bills were high. It was like that. But what I want to do is I want to tie this all in to just letting you know a reset season is not the season of ending, but only the season of beginning. So I'm going to continue on the story here. When I was in Florida, I didn't do that good. I probably did 4 installs, and 2 of them were add-ons. I had to figure out how to make money. Bro, I was out there knocking my ass off. I mean, I was knocking, and I was actually working hard. There was one area I drove 2 hours every day, Port St. Lucie. I was dating a girl down there, and I got her into the solar, and she wasn't making money at all. And I got myself in this situation where I was playing stepdad. I was catering to this girl. She was about to be kicked out of her house where her brother bought the mortgage, and they had made the garage into a unit for her, but she hasn't made no money. Her brother wanted to kick her out. Then she found me on Facebook. We found each other on Facebook, and we started dating, and I started acclimating all her expenses, and then my money started to go down more. So now, remember I told you, moving to Florida, I wasn't making that much money already from solar. And then now I acquired a girlfriend, because it's really what it is when you get a girlfriend. It's another bill. So I acquired a girlfriend with a kid, and every weekend she came, the whole week she ended up just living with me because she lived 2 hours away. I wasn't driving 2 hours away all the time just to go see her. So she ended up just living with me. She left her kid at home with her parents that was living at the house, and her dad was picking him up from school. Her dad was pretty much taking care of her, because the deal was, hey, I started solar, I'm going to be at my boyfriend's house. I was the boyfriend at the time, and we're going to make solar money, and we're going to make this thing happen. So God, seeing me doing all that stuff, trying to be a good boyfriend, trying to keep myself afloat with the money, trying to keep my job. God seen all that, and what it looks like, it is all good, right? It looks good, right? You go out to Florida, you got a house with a pool, 3-bedroom, you got a great neighbor, Joe, he was a cool guy. You got a beautiful Spanish girlfriend. She had the BBL and all that, but nevertheless, like, I'm gonna keep that to myself. I'm not even gonna say it, because it don't really look good at all with clothes off. Just say that. And we tried to do this thing together. We tried to build this solar empire together, because I made a solar deal, $8,000, and I was paying more out there in Florida, $10,000, $13,000, and she did that. That's a power couple, and it would have looked fine, right? We would have ended up getting a spot together, or she would have probably just fully moved in, or we were actually looking at spots to go ahead and move closer to Port St. Lucie, because her son was already doing the school there, the parents was already there, the baby dad was already an hour away because he had to go to his dad's house every weekend. So we was molding both of our lives together and trying to be adults and make this thing happen. But as you can see, the video is about the reset, and the reset was, as much as you think you're doing well and that your plan is working for you, and God literally watches you, your plan is not the most highest plan for you. So nevertheless, it started to get real sticky. I couldn't afford rent anymore, and I had to go into my stocks and start pulling and paying rent out of my stock. My bank account was probably at $500 now. The electric bill alone was $500. I was trying to get solar on the house, but I was renting, so the landlord wasn't listening. So I stopped paying the power bill. They shut it off in Duke Energy. They shut it off. Like in Philly, I got away with on up here without paying any electric bills. My last spot I lived in Philly, I ain't paid electric bill the whole year, and the power stayed on. I don't know how. Probably have superpowers I'm unaware of, but I didn't pay not one power bill, and I didn't even sign up my name in the utility, and I had electricity the whole fucking the whole fucking time I was there. But I paid for the gas because I love cooking. But to finish up this story here, Florida looked great. I thought it was a reset for me. Like, hey, I'm moving from. First, I had a reset from moving from south to north, then the north to Florida, and it looked good, and I ended up becoming broke, and I had to break up with her, and I had to move back to Philadelphia. And the crazy part about with all this happening, not making money as fast as I want, I did probably about 4 installs out there. I made probably $30,000 being out there in Florida. But all that money that I made going to Florida went to the rent. All that shit went to bills, so I wasn't even profitable. Really, because when you do solar, you close a deal, then it takes about a month and a half to get the fucking full install pay. But they give you $1,000 up front to get you afloat, right? You get a site survey, you get $1,000, you can pay your bill pays bills with that. But really, all that stuff was stacking up because I wasn't making any more money. It was hard to fucking get an install. You had to really grind. It's really crazy. To put numbers in perspective, when I was in South Jersey, I would knock for maybe an hour and a half and get a bill and close a deal and be done for the week. And then I have an opportunity to close another one. But then when I went to Florida, it was just crazy, man. I mean, I would be saving people money and all that. But I say all this just to say this. My full reset was when I moved to Philadelphia. And then the crazy part is I had a sneaker shop that I was paying rent on, and it wasn't even open. So I had a sneaker shop down there in Philadelphia. I was paying $875 a month while I was paying $2,000 a month in Florida, while I was paying for this girl too for her meals while she was living with me, while I was paying for my charging and go take her to see her son 2 hours every weekend, or him to come up. I was dishing all this money out just because I was being in good acts and thinking that is all cool. But coming to Philadelphia, then I had moved with my brother. I have got a spot, and I made sure my brother didn't pay not one lick towards the rent the whole time that he lived with me, because I knew if he had a place to sleep, then he would work at the sneaker shop for me, us building this business. And he had a daughter. I gave my niece somewhere to have her head to sleep free, and I took care of my family. And we opened up the sneaker shop, and it was successful. And the best month we did have was when my brother was there. We made $3,000 the first month. Now, we had everything in the shop. It was a small shop. It was great looking. And we only had to make $875 to cover the rent. $875 was the rent. And, we did pretty good. We was open for about 6 months. Really didn't get no profit in it, but it was fun. And my dad manifested before I was born that he have 2 sons to work together and make a business, and I made that happen. My brother worked there, but it didn't work out because my brother's ego got in the way, and probably I could say my ego got in the way a little bit too. But he ended up doing things that he wasn't supposed to, that ended making me have to go fire him, and then that whole thing tore down, and then it became a whole thing. So I say all this to say that life, when it throws you curveballs, that you got to keep staying in there, bobbing and weaving and fighting, and understanding not every downfall is the end of the world. It never really is, because in these situations that I've told you, they all looked good, but they all had bad indications in it as well. just as much as it was good, it's just as much it was bad. You know, my brother was stealing from me. I was paying rent for him to live, and then, you know, he was frustrating. We weren't on the same vibration. The girl, she was living with me. I had coochie at any point in time. She looked good. She had great boobs. I loved them. You know, I had the pool. I had the success. I had the opportunity to make hundreds of thousands of dollars in Florida, but you know, it didn't really pan out that way. I went broke living there. I had a sneaker shop that was going down the drain. And, you know, all these things looked good. But really, this shit was a double-edged sword the whole time. And that's how you know it's God working through the whole turmoil. It's the God in you that's working through this. It's preparation. It's practice for something. God, you know, in the book it says, you may not know what I'm doing now, but soon you shall know. And now in this season, I let go of all that, right? I left solar to go to life insurance. I was going to go do life insurance a year ago. I got my license in September, but the company that I was working with wasn't, you know, doing what I needed them to do to get me to where I needed to be. So I let off of that, went back to solar, did about 2 installs. Then I came back to insurance. But the final page of this whole story of why I'm telling you this is because you got to be patient. You got to go with the bob and weaving. Because now I left Philadelphia. No more sneaker shop. No more solar. And my reset is now I'm a life insurance agent. And now I live in Maryland. But now my rent is lower than ever. I'm doing pad split where you just rent a room and you have the whole house like normal, right? And you got multiple roommates in there. But it is amazing because now I can go anywhere. There's a pad split in this world and I work online. So now in my 30s, I just turned 30, but not 32, but 30. So you see this whole new regime, this whole new chapter is unfolding. Even though all that none happened, I'm exactly what I need to be in my lifetime and in my life frame. So I just wanted to share my story just from the past 2 years in a quick summary in 17 plus minutes or 18 minutes, or how long this video is. I just wanted to motivate you guys and speak to the God and goddesses in you to let you know that when situations look good, there's always going to be bad. And when their situations are bad, always there's going to be good. It's the balance in between everything. That's if you guys know astrology, balance is in my 6th house. So my life is really about balance, and I think I really been learning this, and I'm very excited. That's why I wanted to do this video to show and express this for you guys, because many of y'all that watch this video probably in the same situation that I had. Rather it's the girlfriend situation, rather it's helping a family situation, rather it's, you know, you resetting on yourself. I just wanted to speak to you and let you know that you're not alone in this thing called life. And your spirit, just like how you have these thoughts and patterns and situations, that information didn't just come to you. It's happened all across the world. So Ashe, and I hope you guys have a great day. And I just wanted to jump on this and just get something positive out there today. Peace.